Welcome to Women Entrepreneurs Radio with your host, Deborah Bailey. When I started this podcast in 2008, I was on a mission to promote women business owners, creatives, and entrepreneurs. In each episode, my guests provide resources, valuable tips, and inspiration. Women Entrepreneurs Radio is about showing women how to harness their natural strength to achieve success on their own terms. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Women Entrepreneurs Radio with your host, Deborah Bailey. And I am so glad that you could join us today. And I have really got a very interesting guest today. And she's Patricia Lohan. And she is the Mary Poppins of Prosperity, which I really love so much. She's a Feng Shui expert and an entrepreneur, and she's running a six-figure consultancy business. And I know she has a lot to share with us, so I just want to get out of the way and let her tell us more about how she got started. So welcome to the show, Patricia.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very grateful to be here, and I'm super excited to talk to everyone here on the show.
That's wonderful. So, Patricia, please share how you got started in your work, because looking through your website, everything just looks so interesting, and I'm just really excited to hear more about it.
Yeah, well, from one entrepreneur to another, I just want to, I grew up in an entrepreneurial family, and in my teens, and I was like 15, got my first book about Feng Shui. And that first book about Feng Shui had me hooked from the get-go. I was Feng Shuiing my bedroom and doing all these things to make sure my bedroom was right. Of course, I had no control over the rest of my family's home, but I really felt a calling for this work. But as I said, my parents were entrepreneurs. They had their own business, and I really wanted to have a normal job and work 9 to 5 and, just be, fit in. So I went and studied business, and I really kind of went down that path, and I didn't get back to Feng Shui until I was, on my own path with my own business, where working in an office and doing accountancy and marketing didn't fit me at all. So I took on the journey of Feng Shui when I moved into a new apartment in Dublin, and I wanted to call in my soulmate. So I know there are many entrepreneurs, ladies here, and women, men on listening and going, what is Feng Shui to do with business, and why is she here? And she's talking about love. Well, the very first thing that Feng Shui is that it really helps you call in what it is that you want, whether it's growth in your business, your relationship. It touches every single part of your life. So it helped me call in my husband. I set up my bedroom. I set up my house. I had everything ready for love. And I very soon after met my now husband. And everyone started asking me, how did you meet Ken? And I thought, well, I did this in my bedroom. I did this Feng Shui. And as we know, when the student's ready, the teacher appears, and 2 amazing different Feng Shui masters arrived to Ireland very, very soon after that. So I said, I'm going to do the Feng Shui. Now, at this stage, I had moved in with Ken to our house here in the Dublin Mountains. And I had moved in, and I said, we're going to do this Feng Shui. And Ken said, I want to do it too. He's been interested in it for a long time. And all of a sudden, I did the work here. And I like to describe Feng Shui as acupuncture for your home. Like, it's really like an energy working for your home, getting everything in flow, in ease, so things just move in the direction that we want them to go. So we did the Feng Shui, and all of a sudden, I started getting big clients. I had my biggest event. I used to do a trade fair, and it was like 4 times. I made 4 times more money than I would have. I started getting onto television, getting all these opportunities, and my business just grew exponentially. And I also had a amazing 6-figure windfall. So all these amazing things started happening for me, my life, and my business when I feng shuied my home. I had no actual, at the time, desire to do this as my business. I had a very busy practice working with clients one-to-one, doing healing and energy work and sound healing and training. Like, this was not on my vision at all. But everybody started asking me, what has happened to your life? You're so busy. You've just got a new car. This is happening. You're on the telly. All these amazing opportunities and things that are happening. And I said, well, it's the feng shui. And I had trained. So it was just it wasn't like I couldn't help them. So I started going and working on their houses. And that's when it all started. And soon enough, I realized that we have to start at home. It starts with the foundation. Oftentimes, especially in business, and I have been there, done that, got the t-shirt, got caught up on having the emails and the funnels and the right coach and the mindset and the money blocks and clearing all the things. But what I've noticed and what I've realized and what I've seen with so many of my clients is that if your house is not energetically balanced, it is literally holding you back from flourishing, from expanding, from the opportunities that are there for you. I really believe that as entrepreneurs, we come onto this planet, onto this world to make a difference, to help people. And I don't want anybody to have any obstacles in the way. But what I found was that, and what I see time and time again, is that the house, the energy of your home, the way it's set up, your office, the way that it's lined up from how it was built, it literally can be holding you back from the abundance, from the clients, from the opportunities that are possible for you, because you're doing the work. And I think this is something I really like to emphasize, is that I know we're doing the work that, we're kind of putting it out there, we're showing up, and we're like, why is it just not the tipping point? When's it going to tip to the next level? And that's where people typically find me. And that's how I got into it. And since then, we have had hundreds, actually thousands of women around the world. We feng shuied their houses. Tens of thousands have gone through my free trainings and started to really realize that it starts at home.
Wow. That is very, very interesting. I think because people underestimate how important it is for the energy flow, let's say, but also how much we as human beings and everything that goes on within us has to do with what happens outside of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People underestimate that, and they think it's just, well, I'll just work really hard. And then.
Yeah. Exactly. And honestly, I did subscribe to that as well. I did that. And what I've just seen, because one of the kind of offshoots of diving into this feng shui world and doing it virtually, which is also kind of, it's definitely my, I'm into astrology, my Uranus part, where I'm really technology and doing things outside the box and pushing new boundaries. And what I've realized is that when, especially doing feng shui virtually, it's it doesn't matter where you are in the world. It doesn't matter how hard you're working, how hard you're pushing. But if we haven't got the command of our space, and there's only certain things that we can control in our world, we can control our mindset. We can control what we're doing, what we're working on, what we consume, eat, and also our physical environment. And especially the last few years, there's been so much uncertainty. It's just been so crazy out there. Outside, we don't know. It's what's going on out there? We don't know. But creating this solid, firm support, energetic support of your environment has definitely been something that has been supportive for me, but also for all of my clients. And when we do that, you have this sense of like, okay, I know that the things are, you know, I've got my foundations in place.
Mm-hmm. What are some suggestions that you would have if someone felt that they really wanted to, you know, make their home? Because a lot of times now, I know particularly here, and I'm supposing, you know, where you are as well, a lot of people are working from home, and
Yeah.
a lot of people here, in the US don't want to go back to the office. It seems to be a bit of a crisis, and I'm assuming that it's true in many other parts of the world. So when
For
you're working
sure.
from home now, how can you make that a better space for, you know,
Exactly.
for
This is
success?
This is a great question, and there's many layers to this. So there is, and well, I like to always start with the front door and the entrance of your house. You know, one of the things that, and what I really, my reasoning for wanting to share feng shui is that we often just take for granted the impact of the physical environment, and we just walk by our houses and walk into our houses and go past things and take things for granted with what's going on in the house that are holding us back, and that can be, and we just don't realize. So starting at your front door, I really recommend standing outside your house, wherever you are in the world. And I know it might be really cold somewhere for some people, and snow and everything, but stand outside and just look at the front of your home. Look at the front door, just take it all in for a minute and just be like, how does it feel? Does it look happy? Does it look welcoming? Does it look inviting? Because if you're sitting in your home, currently running your business, this is where everything, the opportunities are coming in that front door. All of the money, the clients, the opportunity, it's coming in energetically. It may be coming in via email or Zoom or whatever, but energetically, the mouth of your home is your front door. It's where it's coming in. So you want to, and also it's also impacting you just on a psychological, on so many levels, how it feels, like literally just the feeling itself. You know, if the paint is all cracked and the doorbell is broken and the welcome mat is all tattered, or there's a broken, I've seen so many different broken pipes, broken screens, if it's just all a bit like untended to, it just doesn't make you feel good. And this is every day you're coming in and out through that. And it's the same with the energy is coming in, or it's like, oh, don't really want that in here. They don't really want me in here. So it's all cobwebs or dirty. And that can be a really nice starting point. Like literally, I have had clients message me and say, I went outside my front door, swept up, cleaned it. I came back in and got an ideal client. Like it's just a shift of the energy. So from the front door, like tended to give it some TLC, give it some intention. And then once you come in, and actually an interesting part is our house can often be mirroring us. So if their front door is jammed or not, like it's, it's kind of tough to get in or has a little bit of a struggle to get in, that can also represent it being a struggle, like things not flowing easily. Around our house, it's giving us a lot of messages, a lot of symbolic messages and energetic messages that we just overlook and don't sometimes see them. So any friction points around the house, I would definitely tend to them. And the next thing I would say to you is just move around your house with fresh eyes. This exercise is so powerful. And just so we know, I said that every part of your home represents a different part of your life. And it also represents a different part of your business. So if you're working from home, it's not just, the health, it's also the health of your business. It's not just the, your own personal like credibility and recognition. It's also the reputation and recognition of your business. So each of these parts of your home, it's not just the prosperity coming in, it's also the prosperity flowing to your business. And so each of those areas are all mirrors. It's like, it's all moving around. So the fresh eyes, exercise, even if you don't know what areas represent what, and that's kind of really beyond the scope of a podcast interview today, but just moving around your home, seeing anything that's broken, that's not working, anything that kind of makes you feel a bit like, oh, that drives me mad. I don't like that. I hate that picture. And even like that alone, like just that seeing it, it's like this new eyes, seeing the things that are in your space, and then be like, well, can I fix it? Do I get rid of it? Or do I want to improve it? Like, what can I do? Or do I just like give it to someone else? Like, what am I doing with this? And this sweep with this new eyes, just moving around, will help you start to see your place with a new fresh perspective. Mm-hmm. And for sure, broken items is another thing. It's depleting the energy. It's broken. So that part of your home has a kind of a drain on it, which then is going to be creating a drain on you. Now, talking about drains, the other thing that's actually very closely related to prosperity is the leaks and taps. So any dripping leaks or taps, like get things fixed. Like get things fixed. Everything's smooth. We want smooth and operational. In Feng Shui, it's a little bit like an iceberg, and at the very tip of the iceberg, there's the surface things that you can do and to improve. And this is what I can do with people and talk to you today on. Beyond that, below the surface, there's a lot of other energetic things that I work with my clients and do analysis with, which is very powerful. But I've had people already do the fresh eyes exercise, look at a painting, go, I hate that picture. Why is it on your walls? How is it? It's impacting your energy. It's impacting how you feel. And if you're passing it every day, and, just even, I think of one client in Sedona, and I happen to be in person now. 99.9% of my clients it's virtual, but I happen to be in person with her. As you walk down her hallway, facing her, between on the way into the office. So as you walk down the hall and facing you was a big picture of a mountain. So you walk down, she saw the mountain, and I was like, it's like you're climbing a mountain before you go into work every day. And she said, oh, it is. It feels like hard work climbing this mountain. I said, move the mountain to beside you so you feel the support of the mountain, but you're not climbing it. You're not facing a mountain every day. So there's a lot of symbolism and a lot of things that you can see as you just like, what's around my space. Now, for entrepreneurs and for those of you working at home, my next point of call will be like your workspace. And that will be the place I would certainly invest some time and some energy and some TLC and some real like attention to, because this is the place that you create from, where you send your invoices from, where you do your voice, where you market, promote, do sales calls, all the things is where you're working from. And that space needs to feel inspiring, uplifting, and you want to have a desire to spend time there. You want to sit there to be able to do your thing and drop into your zone of genius. What I have witnessed over the years is that, especially over the recent years, is since people have kind of like, oh, I have to work from home now. I can't work from somewhere else, the co-working or the office. I have to work from home. I'll just take this little corner. And, you're the CEO or the boss of your business. And is a little tiny corner adequate for that? I've worked with clients and looked at their homes and being like, right now, at the moment, for the foreseeable future, you're going to be working from home. Let's move the bed out of the bedroom. Let's make some space, set this place up so that you walk in and you're like, I'm going to get work done, and I mean business. And that's a really, I am fortunate enough to have my own office space. And this is a dedicated space that was in the house when Ken built it. And I'm going to talk about the best practices that I kind of do in my own office for you to be able to take, okay, best practice is this. Then the next level is like, make your office space a priority. Imagine that someone was coming to work with you in your home today. A client was coming to visit you. What would you want them to see? how would you want them to feel? What would the perceptions that you'd want them to have of your business? Because that is what you want to be creating in your little environment, whatever your workspace is. So the best practices for your office space are a few things. First of all, you'll see me. I have a lovely chair that I absolutely love. This chair was on my vision board for a very long time. A big, tall, high back white. I have a white leather chair. It doesn't matter. You don't have to have white. It could be a color that you like. Ideally, a color you like. But a nice, strong chair that has a good, solid support. You want to feel supported in your chair. You want to feel that you're grounded. Like all of these essences, like in your business, in your life, you want to feel supported. You want to feel like I've got, like, my back has been had. I've got like solid foundations. I'm not rocky. I'm not uncertain about what I'm doing. Solid. The next thing then is the positioning. And that would be, for me, the priority is, and you know, if you're listening to this and you're like, I can't go there, don't worry. I'll give you some other options, because, you know, we're all doing our best with what we've got. I'm fortunate enough to have my best. And actually, my husband sits opposite me. He actually has very bad seat positioning. He's also a Feng Shui, but we typically, if we're going to be here for a bit longer in the house, like we're only here for a couple of weeks, we knew it was just going to be a few weeks, but typically we do take the bed out and he sets up his office upstairs. But this is literally a kind of a 2-week thing here. So we're like, it's 2 weeks. And if he needs to move, he can take my desk when I'm not here. So, you know, just people, you know, I'm not a, you know, we do what we can with what we have. And that's the most important thing. So get yourself a good chair. Get yourself in the positioning that if you can, with your back to a wall and you can see the door. Oftentimes we kind of, and I don't know where this comes from, but you get the desk and it's like put up against a wall, you sit around, your back to the door, you can't see what's coming at you. And you're really in an inferior space, inferior situation, because the energy, we talked about energy coming in, it comes on lands on your shoulders, on your lap, and you're like overwhelmed. You're also feeling, and automatically our bodies our heightened awareness is on, like we're still in a stress place, because, you know, as you know, in past times, we wanted to be able to see what was coming. Like we're in our fight or flight response mode, even with our back to the door, not being able to see it. So ideally, if you are sitting with your back to the door, that has to be your position. And you can get a little mirror and put the small mirror on your desk. So when you're sitting there, you know you're working away. You can catch the corner of your eye and see what's coming. But it is really nice to have some spaciousness in your workspace in front of you, so you can see where you're going, so you can see what's coming. So you have this expansiveness for growth in front of you. And that does make a difference, especially if you are in a situation, say, where your desk is up against a wall and you're facing a wall. And don't worry too much. This is all, we work what you've got with the Feng Shui. But can you get yourself a really nice picture that's inspiring in front of you? Can you get like something that makes you feel like, get your vision board up there, or your business goals, or something that's like, this is what I'm working towards, or this is where I'm moving. So there's a sense of expansiveness there, would be definitely ideal as well. And your office space, I really just want to remind you, if someone was coming to your office, would what's in this space be like appropriate for them to see? So I'll tell you, Deb, I did a very funny podcast interview a few months ago, and it was a lovely man. He was a very, very amazing gentleman. And I was saying about, you know, what's in your sphere, and having your nice background and the back to the wall. And, you know, I've got my pictures that inspire me behind me. And he said, well, you know, what you can see is very set up. Like, you know, that's intentional, because this is what my clients can see. And I said, oh yeah, great. He said, if I move my camera this way or this way, washing machines, vacuum cleaners, boxes of storage, stuff that needed to be decluttered. It was like a bomb. It was like a bomb. And I said to him, I was like, oh my God, this is so funny. I said, all of that stuff is detracting your attention. and affecting your energy. And I said, even if you could put a screen to screen it off and make it like it's a separate little room, he said, I'm going to do that. Because he said he walks in and he sees it all and it bugs him. And I said, you do not want to walk into your office and have something bug you. You know, like that you're like, oh, look at all that stuff. And what if the camera moved one day and someone would see it? You know, so we had a good laugh. And I have actually had people say it to me that they've heard it and seen the interview, come back to it. They're like, oh my God, it was so funny. So like, just like there's a whole sense of like, is this aligned with my business? Like, is what I have in my office, in my workspace now literally aligned with what I am doing in my job? I have a lovely client who used to be, she's a Tony Robbins, coach. And, we were feng shuiing her office and we were doing her whole house, but we were looking at her office one day. And she had a lot of things like the desk. We moved her around so she could see the door, got her in her power position. And then I said, show me your bookshelves. So we were looking at the bookshelves, and on the bookshelves, there's all these beautiful cookery books, cordon bleu chef books. Oh, amazing. And I was like, God, they're beautiful. I said, where's your Tony Robbins books? Where's your personal development books? Where's the books about what you do? And she said, oh, they're not in here. So I said, well, why did you have all these books? She said, I used to be a cordon bleu chef. And it's like all of that stuff is in her business. I said, do you want to do it again? And she said, no. And it was almost like she still had one foot in the past, in that, having that business, that career in her office. I was like, move them to the kitchen. You know, if you're going to be using them, bring in the things that resonate with your career. And I'm not joking, in less than 24 hours, she messaged me and she's like, Patricia, honestly, I have so many new clients, people messaging me out of nowhere. And I was like, it's because you've refocused your attention. Like there's no kind of distractions in the space.
Wow, that's a very interesting point, because I think that, I know here we have tons and tons of clutter is kind of a thing, where people always decluttering and trying to move things around. And I totally can understand that, because you just seem to collect things for some reason. And then you kind of look up and go, where does all this come from? So I'm kind of wondering if people collect things and then just kind of live with it because they figure, well, I don't know what to do. So, and then things start to build up. And it sounds like that starts to affect us and what we do and how we feel.
Totally. And like feng shui isn't about decluttering, but it is, if you know what I mean. There's a synergy between the two of them. And what I find is people will come to me and say, I can't feng shui my house because it needs decluttering first. And I usually would contract and say, no, because you actually need to do the feng shui first, because the energy is not happy. It's very difficult to declutter a house. It's like basically what happens with a house is that the energy is either very high vibe and things are moving in certain parts of your life, and other areas can get very stagnant and things can pile up in certain areas in your home. And that's a red flag for me, saying the feng shui is not happy here. And it's low, so it's going to attract the energy, the feng shui. It's going to attract the negative, the low vibe, the clutter, the things. But what I see and have witnessed is a lot of people will do decluttering, but then they'll end up with more back in the place again. So it's like this, it's just this constant cycle. And what I like to say to my clients is, we need to do the feng shui first. You'll see the clutter will not want to stay. And when you're aware of like your career area or your business area, your prosperity area, there's no way you're going to want to keep rubbish there. There's no way you're want to keep things that don't feel a good energy for it. Now, and like a lot of people, we hold onto things that may not necessarily be of our highest good, but what I like to say about clutter, there's two different real forms of it. Some people associate clutter with the kitchen counter that's all messy and like this morning's breakfast stuff on the kitchen counter, or, you know, the clothes on the bed from yesterday, you know, that they've been that's fun. Oh, my house is a mess, there's all this stuff. Or the kids' playroom is another one. They say, oh, the kids' playroom, it's just a mess, there's toys everywhere. And I said, well, the kids' playroom, 99% of the chance the kids will be in and they're going to play with the toys. It's going to be moving. The energy is moving. It hasn't been stepped there for like 6 months on its like untouched. Same goes for like, you're going to clean the kitchen event like today, like, or tomorrow, like it'll get done. We know that's going to get done. Same with the laundry. It gets done. It's part of life. That for me is life. That surface is just called life to me. And if I go to someone's house and I see that, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fine. What I'm more concerned with and more interested in, especially on this kind of surface level for people, is that if things are feeling stagnant and stuck in your house or in your life or in your business, I would totally recommend doing a little bit of a fresh eyes, but not just fresh eyes on the surface. Go and look at the cupboards, the bedrooms, the wardrobes that haven't been touched for a few weeks or months or years. That is where the energy is getting stagnant. And that's where it can be literally creating a ripple effect into your life and your business and all parts of your health and everything. So like, just think about like, you know, a little pond and there's no water, there's no moving water. It gets all stale and gross and stagnant. Like that's essentially what's happening energetically to those cupboards or those spaces. So I would certainly recommend doing a clear out of those, and that you'll feel a good boost of energy from it as well. And I have a good recommendation for this though, is you're letting go of something. So for example, you decide to tackle the paperwork in your office, which is always a good idea. Let go of the old client forms that you don't be working with anymore. Clear out any of the financial things, like just do a big refresh of just the paperwork alone. And as you're letting go of, say, that client file, I'm welcoming in 10 new clients. I'm welcoming, make a kind of a switch. It's like literally we want to exchange of energy. So this is leaving. What am I calling in to replace it with?
That makes really a lot of sense, because then people, I know for myself, it's like I've collected business cards over amount of time, and then I put them in a box, but then I opened the box the other day. I'm like, oh my God, all these cards have been here for years. It's like, what am I going to do with this? Because you collect things and then you feel bad about throwing them away.
Oh, yeah.
Which makes no sense because you're not using them. You know, it's not like you're in there every day, you know, looking through these cards or looking through these files. And you feel this guilt, like, well, what if I need it? If I get rid of it, I might need it.
Oh, that's a good one. Do you know what? I seriously would recommend, there's a good decluttering kind of tool that I like. It's just like, do the 3 box thing. So if it hasn't been like, so basically you pick up something, you're like, am I keeping it? Am I getting rid of it? Or maybe, and get your box for the maybe file. Maybe I'll need it, and put a little 6 months, put it into a box for 2 months, for 3 months. The trick is write the list of what you've put into the box. When you go back to it, can you remember what's in it? Have you needed it? Have you used it? Have you actually gone, I need this thing? No. Typically, if it goes into maybe, it actually, you may as well just let it go altogether, because it's never going to be used. And, you know, if it is going to be you can always get another one. I think there's if desperately I need it, or borrow it. But things like for sure, a really nice one to do, and this is like a fun little light exercise if you're doing like fresh eyes, go around and move or remove 27 things. 27 is a nice feng shui number. It's kind of fun, but also it's like, you know, you're rejigging things a little bit, and you're letting go, kind of, then you have a number. I'm going to let go 27 things. So you're kind of get a little goal, and you can be like, yay, I've done it. I got rid of the 27 things, whatever they are. You know, it could be 27 pencils, like, but when are you ever going to need 27 pencils? Like, seriously, you know, and that's where we have to get really kind of into a place of like, it's safe for me to let go. What I notice with people with the letting go of things is that it's like building a muscle. don't go try and let go of all your family photos or heirlooms or things that have a serious emotive connection to you. Or if you're like a reading nerd, like Ken and I had three huge bookcases in this house when we were first living in this house. And of course, 3 huge bookcases meant 3 huge bookcases full of books.
Mm-hmm.
And because if you have the space and the shelves, you just fill it.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, okay, we're getting rid of that one, has to go. That one has to go. Then we're like, actually, so does that one. The 3 of them went, and then we went through all the books. And it was difficult. I have to say, it was pretty tricky because I love books. But now I have it down to 4 piles of books, not 3 massive, huge, like full wall size bookcases. And even the 4 piles of books, I've read all the books on them, and they were nice books, but I haven't actually gone back to any of them. So, now I have a Kindle because we travel so much, but it's like that sense of like, do I really need it? And when so go and declutter the thing that you don't have an emotional attachment to. It was very difficult for us to go through the books. It took a long time. It took a while, and it was a journey. It was a journey, and it is a journey with it. But, the exercise with the letting go with what you're replacing it with is really powerful.
Yeah, that's really great advice, and also a wonderful example, because a lot of times, particularly, I think business people will end up collecting a lot of different books,
What if I'll need that information for reference? Or, oh my God, like all of the workshops or the courses that you've done.
Yes.
Oh, like, do you know what I say to some of my clients? I get the workbook, hug it, and say, I know that all the information that I need is in this, like is in me. And I've gone through the workshop. I will never need it for reference.
Right.
Take it and go, I have all the information in me. If I need it, it's going to come to me. And, that's something that I even say, like I've been training a group of amazing women in Feng Shui this year to become certified consultants. And they said, well, what if I'm afraid that I won't know the answer if someone asks me a question on the spot? And I said, you have taken in all this information this year. It's in you. You'll access it when you need it. It'll come. You'll be so surprised. I said, it happens all the time to me. Or I'll just learn something new and then I need it a week later. So just you don't need all the paper, all those workbooks and courses that we've done. It's in us. And that's a real inherent trust that we have what we need within us, and we don't have to, and obviously if for a doctor or, a reference book that we use for every day, like that's one thing. But if it hasn't been touched since you did it, like, how are you actually going to really read and use it,
Right. Yeah, that's so true. Definitely when it comes to courses and you get a lot of binders and things like that. I know a lot of things, right now a lot of people are doing online stuff, but then they'll have stuff you can download. And then the thing is, do you really ever even, if you download it, you put it into a file on your computer and then it just sits there because you're just overwhelmed.
Well, there you go. Exactly. And that's an amazing exercise too. Like to clear your screensaver. Clear the screensaver. Do a little digital detox, like clear out the emails. I actually had an email account that I just deleted.
Oh.
It was like, I don't know, so obnoxious amount of emails. And it was like my first email account from when I was 16. And I was like, I have no idea what I've subscribed to in the last 20 years to it. And I don't know what it is. And nobody's personally emailing me to this. So I just said, delete the whole account.
Right.
There was no way I was tackling deleting all the stuff. I was like, not a hope. So that was one extreme version. But I have a little rule, and I used to be like really bad for keeping the emails in. And I don't know, I can go today now and tell you, because it's Monday. I did a bit of a clear out already of my inbox, and I've got 3, 6, 9 emails in my inbox, which is pretty good. And there's a few there that can be deleted before I finish up today. Three of them are things I'm working on. So, that's, I really do try and keep that. Like, it's like, where in your life, in your home, is something feel overwhelming, and how can we reduce that? How can we reduce that? And for your office and your workspace, we really, really want to make it be a creative sanctuary, a real creative sanctuary that you feel inspired. I am a big fan, I've talked a little bit about the artwork thing, about art and what's on your walls, but I'm a huge fan of, looking at the things that are around you, especially say art. So, for example, here in my office beside me, and you can't see it because the flip chart is over at the moment, but I would love people to have like something that represents upward growth. So, I talked about the mountain, but just like what in your space, like what represents abundance and growth and prosperity. In our office, this picture here to my right is a big field of bluebells with trees in it. And the bluebells, you never see one bluebell on its own. There's always so many bluebells, and it's just so abundant. And the trees represent growth, and the sun is kind of shining in, and it feels very, beautiful. So what is in your space that gives you that feeling? Do you have something in space that gives you that feeling of growth and expansion? And, I have a really funny one. Years ago, I feng shuied a lady's office, and I was on the call looking at her office, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to say to her. Perfect. She had a great chair. She had a great desk. She had these lovely cabinets. It was just like, it was kind of like your dream scenario of an office, and like a very executive kind of office. So I was like, she's already done the feng shui. Let's move to the next room, But we were looking over, and I said, show me that piece of art on the wall. And she showed me the piece, and it was of a winter scene. So it was like the trees there's no leaves, and it was very cold. It was quite a dark picture. And I just said to her, I was like, winter is not really the most, that's the time for introspection. It's not the time for harvest. It's not the time it doesn't feel very abundant when you look at it. Like, obviously there's a lot of snow, but it's like the season. And especially when we think about seasons of harvest is what we really want, like summer and autumn, like that's the best, that's where the prosperity and the growth is. So I said to her, oh yeah, that's not that season, not really growth. And then she said, it was my ex-husband's.
Oh,
in her office, there was a picture of something that didn't work out, So even we think about what are the things that haven't worked out in our business, projects that we've done, is there clients that did, or proposals that we've sent, like out. Make space for the new, and started thinking about like, where are you going? What are you creating? Does this space feel like really welcoming, like the front door, the office, that if someone was to come in and have a client was to come in and work with me today, how would I feel? Like, and how, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's definitely, the way to look at it, as far as this is a welcoming space, for you and for anyone to come into that space, as opposed to, as you said, maybe just sitting like in a corner of whatever space that you put yourself in and letting things pile up, and then wondering why you are feeling the way that you're feeling.
Well, it's a whole thing of prioritizing. Like, it's like, am I prioritizing my business? Am I prioritizing myself? It's a prioritization. It's like, all my business is worth is a little corner. No, you're the CEO, you're the boss.
That's a great point. That's how we really have to start to look at these things, a little, differently. So Patricia, can you please let the listeners know where they can find out more about you?
Yes, of course. Well, you can find me at patricialohan.com. And I also have a pop-up group where I do lots of different lives and sharings. But most recently, I have created a new Feng Shui mini course that is a behind-the-scenes course, basically a walkthrough of my house, giving you Feng Shui best practices, and little behind-the-scenes sneak peek of my own house. If you're really nosy to see what my house is like, and how it's set up and how I have it Feng Shuied. So You can come to patricialohan.com and get access to that course there. And I also have a guide for helping you to feng shui your office, your a feng shui checklist and some other and a quiz to be able to see what your house type is. So there's lots of amazing resources there. Come to patricialohan.com and learn more. I'd love to have you there and to get some of that amazing other information that I've created for you.
That's wonderful. Thank you. And I will definitely put this, put that into, the show notes. And, I think, as you were talking about the workplace and workspace and that kind of thing, I thinking about, as far as a lot of people do now, particularly on Zoom or other things where they'll either, put a different kind of background behind them or they'll,
yes.
So it's like, let me just change everything back there so no one can see what it really looks like.
What it really looks like. And it's not a bad idea. Like when I was in Greece, I still did sit in my power position with my back to the wall and I could see the door, but I used a beautiful backdrop of a friend of mine, an interior designer, had created because I literally just had a bare wall. It wasn't very exciting. And I was like, well, I wanted to, feel good. So having those backdrops it's not a bad idea. I definitely am not anti them, but what I would definitely recommend is just be mindful of what you do. Like get yourself still with your back to the wall, see the door, get a good chair. Like those things are still going to improve, make a difference. But have the backdrops that feels inspiring and that reflects you and your business. Like if you're going to have a backdrop, it needs to mirror who you are and what you're doing.
Yeah, that's a great point because we're not really thinking about how that feels to us and all that energy that we're showing. What are people seeing and what are they gathering from that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That makes sense. But I think that everything that's gone on has really definitely changed our relationship with work and home. Kind of gets blurred together.
Oh, well, honestly, this is something, actually, I have a really good one for you with this, because if you do have a separate workspace, like I'm lucky enough to have my own office, we closed the door, but one of my clients, she was very blurry for her work, and her bedroom and her office were literally side by side. And I actually got her to get an open and closed sign. So at the end of the day, she would close out the door and turn the sign. She was actually looking to call in love. And there was no space in her life because she was working all the time. And she had no energetic boundaries either, so basically it was too easy for her to go into the office and work at the weekends or the evenings. And I was like, get the door closed, put your closed sign and walk away from it and make space. And very soon after, she met an amazing, lovely man in her life. But also what unfolded for her was amazing because her focus, we did a lot of work around relationships and partners. She ended up getting herself a new business partner as well. I just thought that it was super fun because that's what we're focusing on. And talk about this but that would not have happened if she hadn't kind of made the space in her life and made space. And we did her office, we functioned her office, we did her bedroom, we did her whole home. And what was so fascinating was when we did her bedroom, she saw a growth in her business. Her business was actually very successful. It was good for money, but not for people. So we had to sort out the people thing for the calling and the love. But once she did the feng shui, she saw a growth in the business, but also called in the business partner. But the business partner, they both had the same businesses basically, but they both had two different amazing skills. She was incredible at sales and she didn't like the operations part of growing the business, and running the team and all of that. And the other woman had the same business. They both Facebook ads agencies. The other woman had an amazing business, didn't like doing sales, but loves the operations and running the team. So she basically met her perfect match. And now their business has scaled like hugely, which has been amazing. But I just thought it was amazing because this is part of the whole thing of getting into the flow, that when you get your environment set up, the right people, the right opportunities, the right things come in so that you are in your zone of genius. So you are doing what you're meant to do. And that was just a beautiful kind of offshoot of doing the feng shui with me, was she ended up like literally just doing now what she loves in the business, growing it even bigger, helping more people, and having someone else doing the thing that she doesn't like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's different, I guess you could say, ramifications of her making those changes now led to other things, calling in other things that she really preferred to have, in her life and business. And I think that's the thing for us to look at the whole picture of how all these changes affect us as people.
Exactly.
Yeah. And how it makes things better for us. So I think that's
totally
so important. Patricia, this is a fantastic topic. And of course, it's much bigger than we could, ever discuss, on this, particular podcast episode. But I definitely, am enjoying this and I love what you're sharing. But, I just want to ask, before we, wrap up, do you have any final thoughts, to share with the listeners?
I suppose for me, it's just, my final thought is just I hope that you're walking away with this awareness that your physical environment, your home, where you're spending a lot of your time, is impacting your mood, your energy, your bank account, your clients, all your work. And just taking action, like that is really one of the key things. So prioritizing, do the fresh eyes and taking action, maybe coming upon my checklist or doing the quiz, to just really start to create a great relationship with your environment. It will start to make your life a lot smoother and more enjoyable. And that's what I really want people to come away with today.
That's wonderful. And, I know here as we go into, the holiday season, at this point, there's going to be a lot.
I know.
A lot of, whatever activities and things like that. And sometimes more reason for clutter.
Yes. Also it's like, it's a decision, like it's a choice for you to kind of be like, we are coming to the holidays, which means that we have a bit of time. Like we're not like, you're kind of give yourself a bit of a break and be like, you know what, a fresh start into the new year. I'm going to set myself up. I'm going to set my business, my office, my workspace up. I'm going to clear out some things that I don't need. So this is a great time for that, to do it and just to give yourself that and prioritize it,
That's true. So we can look at it from that really positive, perspective as we go, into a new year again, where people start gearing up for a kind of a refresh, for doing things. So we could really start now and start to look at that and it won't be so stressful.
No, exactly. And honestly, just like, you just don't have to do it all at once. That's really important. Like when people join my PowerHouse program, some people are gusto. They've done everything, so quickly. And other people, I'm just like, take your time. It's a journey with your home. It's always going to be evolving, doing little things or tweaks or, and balancing it. Like it's just part of a journey. So I hope that you just take your time with and just realize does not have to be done today. And just take one little thing. So it's like, do the fresh eyes, do the, get yourself the chair. Just like, what is the one thing you could do today? Like go clean your front door, do the little steps every day. You'll start to feel better and take it in your own pace.
That's great advice. I think particularly for business owners who may be trying to do it all at once.
Exactly. I know. Been there, done that. I'm so grateful I have a lovely team now. I just get the ideas come in and now I'm like, whoop. Thank God. But, I honestly, I have been there, done it, and I get it. And, I think this is also part of it. If you are that person who's going to do everything, prioritize your space, and that's going to make it a lot easier to be more productive, be more productive, be more creative. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely what we want. So, Patricia, once again, thank you so much for joining me. This has been a great conversation. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It's been an absolute joy, and I hope that everyone enjoyed it.
I'm sure that they will. And so everyone, please make sure you share this in social media and share it with your friends, and certainly visit Patricia's website and check out all the tools and things that she has there for you as we are getting ready to go on into the new year, and also as we continue on. So once again, it's Women Entrepreneurs Radio with the host, Deborah Bailey. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'll see you again next time. Bye now.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to stop by womenentrepreneursradio.com to read extended bios of the show guests, and also find links there for their websites and any offers that they have shared with you. And stop by our Facebook page at facebook.com/womenentrepreneurs.